guys, welcome back to my smashing YouTube channel. Well, you thought I was going to start like that. But listen, on a serious note, weight has been something that I've been dealing with for a very long time. I was born in the church, and just seeing how most people navigated it so lightly, I think is where I got my best of context. And so many people currently are in the church, or just people who love God, don't have a single clue of what's going to happen in 20, 30 years. That them skipping the gym, that if you continue to ignore the aches and pains in your body, it's going to eventually lead to hip replacement. It's going to lead to your children getting the same thing. Like, generationally, you're going to be looking at the same exact issues because it's genetics. It's not the most fun conversation to have, and it's one that most people avoid, but you can feel it on a daily basis, how tired you are. Always tired, always look like cranky, and always hungry. No matter how much you eat or how you shift it around, it's peckish with sugar cravings. And the biggest part about this is if you would have a child today, they would inherit every single thing that you are too. So they would have the same struggles. And thus the cycle continues. And for me, having immigrant parents that came from Haiti, they definitely were on the same type of timing. Right? They didn't have the most educational knowledge of nutrition because they just ate from the land. But now when you have processed foods that make things a bit quicker that they can lean into, you basically get the same thing multiplied. But the biggest kicker here, I think that goes most unnoticed, is the mental, emotional, and spiritual part. We talk about spiritually, the lack of self-control on an all-time high. Because at first I thought it was just because I was addicted to porn. I was beating my meat like 6 times a day. One time I did it even in a church bathroom. I was just so horny all the time. I'll never forget it in the church. Oh my goodness. Listen, I would just see breasts in the church, and I would see teenage women, but then there would be like these older women that kind of like the aunties, and they would wear like these push-up bras, but they had like 3-4 kids, so now their breasts are really large, and it would just turn me on so hard. And one time I just remembered I was visiting church. I said I'm a pastor's kid. My dad is visiting a church, and there was this, I think she was like 15 or 16, and it was her birthday, and she just had this dress. It was blue with rhinestones on it, like some quinceañera, but I'm not Mexican. It was weird, but that was also the sick part about me. So much that I went into the bathroom that was in the basement. And I'll never forget, I shut off the lights. I closed the door, and I was just like, I hope no one comes and knocks, but I just rubbed 2 out back to back. I was just like, oh my gosh, I couldn't help myself. Literally, I was just beyond my own help. And it was sickening because then it turned into me discovering weed and alcohol and these things to numb me because I didn't want to face the fact that, 2 immigrant parents living in a 1-bedroom house, just 7 people in my crib. I never wanted to be home. And I would have this avoidance, and I help use liquor and weed with that, except that phase didn't last too long. I hated how it felt. I hated how being under the influence always made me feel. And then here comes food. A socially acceptable thing to do is eat, because everybody needs to eat. But when something that becomes necessary gets abused, it becomes a want. And before, Hulk. I'm talking about crazy beef patty with cheese, lettuce, tomato. I'm making beef patty sandwiches in between cocoa bread. If you're from New York City, you get it. And I'm making monstrous meals to feed me at any cost. And back then, I didn't know that I wasn't always going to be an athlete. I didn't know that life slows down and gets super busy. So now, once I stopped playing sports in high school, going into college, now I'm adulting, I'm eating the same exact way. And now I'm spending months and years confused why I'm not getting the results that I want in the gym. Why am I always tired? And I'm in like my mid-20s. Why am I so frustrated with life? I feel like I'm always stuck. I'm not getting to where I want to be. And it hit me. I feel like it was really God that hit me with the, bro, look at yourself. Like, take a second. Stop avoiding yourself every time you take a shower and running in and washing up. Because I would never want to see my own reflection. I didn't like what I saw. But when I really stood there and took a look at myself of how food became my God and what I worshiped was my belly, that anytime I felt an inkling, any type of feeling, I would want to fix it right away. I couldn't just go without food for a little bit. I needed it. Anytime I was stressed, I needed it. And my body reflected exactly that. It didn't show someone with discipline, someone who was relying on God. Like, food was my God. And that's exactly what it was. The mirror will never lie to you. The mirror is your best friend. You should take a mirror with you everywhere you go. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't go wrong. Even this video is going to be a mirror. I think I'm a great speaker. I think I'm very eloquent. I don't use a lot of filler words. But when I watch this video back, it's going to tell me what's really up. And so when I saw that mirror, I had a real coming to myself moment of like, what are we doing? How did we get here? How did we get so stuck? And it started a journey in a pursuit of self-control. Being abstinent led me to being abstinent for 3 years, saving my body for marriage. And most people want to aspire to be married. They want a wife. They want the kids. They want this life of flourishing. Meanwhile, they can't master the basics of controlling themselves. How could you control a child if you can't even control yourself? That is backwards. How are you going to be building a life with someone else whose emotions you can't control, of how they wake up and feel, if you can't control yours? It's the most basic foundational part that you can start off with, because it's you. How much more are you worth taking the extra minute in time to get it in control? But if you can't wake up in the morning, tell yourself, go do this for an hour. Just focus for an hour on your body and tell your body to move as much as you don't want to. How many other areas of your life is it really showing up? That's the hard truth that people don't want to admit, that it's showing up in so many other areas of your life. Meanwhile, you just wanted to put a blind eye towards it. And through this experience of having to wake up and face the truth, I noticed there's this daily structure I could follow that would make it so simple, like dead simple, that made it impossible not to be consistent with my health, impossible not to get self-control and to look fit in the process. And it birthed this system called a daily deposit. So every day I would make a deposit to myself, an investment, just like the bank. I worked inside financial services, and it made sense to me that you can't put $5 in and expect $5 million. You put $5 in and you expect it to compound over time. Each time you put it in, it will double and double by the percentage that would be occurring on the account. And so I saw health and fitness the same way, of like, I show up every day, not to lift, but if I show up with these 4 tangible things every single day, it would be impossible to fail. It started off with my wake up time. What time I woke up in the morning, it became 4 a.m. Walking for at least 3 times, 30 minutes, 3 times a day, making a prayer walk and a devotion part of my life. 3 was going to be my nutrition, making sure that I hit a protein and fiber goal, because I'm always hungry, and that's the thing that keeps me satiated and feeling good and light. And 4 is impacting someone else's life on a daily basis. If I don't take what I know and change someone else's life with it, I'm just doing it for no reason. If I'm not recording a workout, if I'm not putting something out there like this, then it means nothing. But everybody has a structure to what they can do on a daily basis to keep themselves within self-control, stuff that they don't want to do all the time. I don't want to make this video. I don't want to make content, but I know that I need to make an impact. I know it's bigger than me. I know my workouts, those walks sometimes, if it's raining, if it's snowing, I have to do it. It is not a negotiable. I don't negotiate with it. If I have to pace in my crib back and forth to do it, I will, because I know what's at stake. I know the lineage is at stake. I know that I can't trust myself that much because I failed myself too many times over. I am not my friend. I am my best enemy. The person closest to you is yourself, or you're your biggest enemy that you don't even know. You think you know yourself. You know how you operate. You spend enough time with yourself, but you haven't smelled your top lip. It stinks. Top lip stinks. It's so close you can't even smell it. You're nose blind. You've been living in it for so long. This complacency and comfort of always using food to be your guide, to soothe you from the stresses of life, that you haven't even smelt the fact that you're gaining weight. You haven't smelt the fact that you're out of shape, that you can't even use your own body how it's intended to. You can't even hold it up with your own 2 arms without any weight. And you don't even realize how that's taking years off your life. And so in this system of a deposit is non-negotiables that don't put stress on your day, but work within them. And truth be told, if you want to learn more about it, you can contact me. I got something in the bio. Reach out. I'll see however way I can help and share the system with you and how you can build it out for yourself. Or don't. Really, I don't know. Listen, I'm just making this video. It's been pretty fun. I've been at it for 10 minutes. I probably could go for 30. But I honestly want to know if this is helpful. If it is, I'll probably hear from you If it wasn't, then I probably just need to get better and I suck. And that's a good mirror that I'm gonna keep with me.